So today was a little stressful. Shoshana vomited. Could be the beach. The beach here is quite polluted. I want to say nice things though, because I just encountered these group of very nasty people. I was walking through here, and they were just like, a dog is barking, and it's my fault. The dog is barking because of my dogs. And it's this kind of mentality when people blame you for their own faults that you just have to put headphones in and just ignore. But it's really hard for me. I have very thin skin. It's like so thin. How thin is my skin, Shoshana, huh? It's so thin, it's like a leaf. No, it's even more. It's like a transparent paper. I feel everything, and I get like all this bad vibes. So I really have to surround myself with good energy, do yoga, which I'm about to do today at sunset. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with the yoga quitting time. It's cost me too much. And even when I do yoga, I'm nervous. So without yoga, it's even worse. So today's been nice. I've had good talks. The dog park, small little new dog park. And started to read a new novel. I haven't finished the old one, and I want to recommend it for you. It's I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Carson McClure's The Heart is a Lonely Hunter. I like the name. I like the idea. I like the fact that she's from Georgia originally. And I like the American writers from the South are really my favorites. So I'm going to talk about it more extensively. I think I need to disconnect from this reality. I've been on lockdown actually for 4 years, really, because I haven't been able to leave this country ever since I don't have a dog sitter I can trust not to kill my dogs by, I don't know, neglecting them. And now I have the cat, and everything costs money. So I'm on lockdown for 4 years now. I've been on lockdown for 4 years after I'm used to living in a place where I can just cross borders. So it's been quite a challenge to live here. The weather is good, and we do have a beach nearby, which I will be visiting shortly, because they're going to shut down the beaches on the weekend. I never go to the beach on Saturday because it's so overcrowded. And especially now, you don't want to be with crowds, do you? But just something so soothing about the ocean, especially when it has big waves. Now it's like really, the ocean's very wild. So I just wanted to say I made a big mistake. I watched this video. I always say, oh, it's not going to affect me. It's not going to affect me. Of course it's going to affect me. I watched this video, the interview with Prince Andrew about Epstein and Godzilla, or whatever her name is. It just so disgusts me, this woman. It's just, I think they should dig him up from the Mount of Olives, Maxwell, whatever his name is. The father of Godzilla was buried in Israel in the Mount of Olives after he embezzled pension funds. And now she's like a pedophile. I mean, that family has to be from hell. And it's really important for me to stress that it's not a Jewish thing. Sorry, but the Catholic Church wins hands down. But it is disturbing that Jews behave the way they do, because you do expect more. You know, the tribe of Jesus, whatever. You do expect more from Jews. And it's really disgusting when they are the worst. And when you get these behaviors, you say, hey, what happened to the Ten Commandments or whatever? Just get very angry with Godzilla's behavior. I mean, innocent really. You have all these women, young girls that you know, the fact that you take a poor girl that grows up in a trailer park and you convince her to go to your rich boyfriend's mansion and abuse her sexually after she tells you she's been sexually abused before. I mean, I don't remember because all the stories melted into one. There was this blonde one and brunette. I don't know, they just all seemed like such sad cases of obviously coming from homes where the parents don't ask, where have you been after you've gone for 3 weeks and God knows where in the Caribbean. It's like, where have you been? Like, normally you would expect a 15, 16, 17-year-old girl that the parents are aware that she's gone and ask questions. So it just shows you they especially targeted girls from difficult homes. And that's so disgusting. I think there's not a punishment suitable enough, but I think we should start a campaign to dig up this Maxwell guy and get him out of the Mount of Olives. My maternal grandparents are buried there. It's supposed to be the most holy place for Jews to get buried. Why? Why did we honor him? So he helped Israel, okay, a little bit, but he also destroyed the lives of millions of people. No, not millions, let's say thousands. His daughter added also a few thousand people she destroyed. And I understand people who've been through the Holocaust, have seen the worst of humanity and become the worst of humanity. This I don't get. And it's not the first case I see like that. People sometimes out of trauma become even worse. So I was just listening to a wonderful podcast about trauma and body. And there was one sentence I'd like to add, and it said that people react very differently to trauma. And it's true. So for some people, look at the cute dog. Some people, when something bad happens to them, they just become paralyzed. And other people, it doesn't affect them as much. I'm always amazed when people come out of the Holocaust and they actually can function and they don't end up in an insane asylum. And I don't know, but it depends on how thick your skin is. And mine is definitely very thin. I mean, I feel the Holocaust even though I'm third generation. Is it third? No, I'm second actually. Sort of second and a half, because my mom wasn't in concentration camps, but she lived under Nazi occupation and her family was murdered. And I listened to stories by my grandma. So I've definitely been affected by that trauma. And then for some reason I attract psychopaths. So, sorry, I'm laughing. Not like you, no, you're great. One of the reasons why I loved Shoshana was because she seemed like she suffered a lot too. And I thought, yeah, I saw the dog, the dog sort of, I saw her despair. She was in a really bad dog shelter, and they just tied her outside on the fence, and I just thought, no, I'm taking this dog home. I didn't think forever, Shoshana, let's face it wasn't easy, but I looked at her teeth bent, bite marks. She definitely has body trauma. Yeah, I'm not going to tell everybody, but you do have issues, Shoshana, let's face it. Not every vet can go near you, and it hasn't been an easy ride. But this one, where is she? This one is not easy either. This little one. 15 years of love. So, I don't know. I just react too much. In dog training, there's such a thing as reactionary dog or reactive dog. Sorry. I react too much. If something bad happens, don't react. Take a deep breath and count to 10. I react too quickly. I have to say, when I'm a teacher or a kindergarten teacher, I don't react because I'm professional. I put on my professional mask. And I've had challenges mostly with the staff not to react to they provoke me for sure. So people are coming back from the ocean, and I'm like I was listening to this podcast called Trauma and Body by Laurie Anderson and from Cody Herman's channel, Cody Talks. And these people are the best because they really allow you, when you listen to them, they don't suffocate you. Sometimes you listen to YouTube, I hope not mine, and you just don't have the ability to think. And they just talk in a quiet pace and very genuine. Really appreciate the podcast. So I'm here. It's going to be 10 minutes of me. So going back to the Prince Andrew interview, it just really infuriated me. He knew Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of sexually abusing minors, and then he's a known sex offender, and he goes to live at his house for 4 days. And he's like, oh, I just wanted to let him know I can't meet with him. What, are you, an idiot? Do you really think we're so stupid? I mean, you go to his house and there's no other place in New York. How many millions of pounds do the British taxpayers pay you? And the only house in New York, downtown Manhattan, is a sex offender's home. And he said, oh, I met some really great people through him. I bet you did. It's called a network of pedophiles. So I don't know what to say, but I'm very angry when I read conspiracy theories, I'll name him. His name is Eric Weinstein. He's supposed to be this genius, not related, I think, to Harvey, but I'm not sure. He's quite a disgusting looking man. He dyes his hair black, obviously, because he's like older guy, and he thinks he's a genius. And he's a mathematician. And look, mathematicians always think they're geniuses because not a lot of people understand abstract mathematics. But, there's all kinds of intelligence. And then he compares Eli Cohen, who was a spy for Israel. He was an Israeli spy sent to Syria. And he had parties. So how can you compare that to Jeffrey Epstein's seducing young girls for his own pleasure, to Eli Cohen, who acted in order to get inside information that saved Israel from sure destruction? The Syrians would have destroyed Israel in 1967 if Eli Cohen hadn't given information about military movement. Yes, he had parties. Maybe they were wild parties. As far as I know, he didn't abuse minor girls, and that wasn't the point. That wasn't the goal. Whereas with Jeffrey Epstein, that was the goal. The goal was to please himself. Because did he help Israel? I don't know. Maybe there was some sort of backhand connection. But you know what? Even if there was a slight connection, that was not his goal. He's not a nice guy. His goal was to abuse these girls, because that's what he did. That's what they said. I didn't read stories that he was like, these things you can't hide. Did he give U.S. like military secrets from Iran or Iraq or Syria or any one of those terrible regimes? No. All he cared is about himself, like Godzilla. She's like the worst, when I think about her, having lived in Europe. These socialites, they just never work, or they have these jobs like real estate, and then they're just like going to where do they go, schools, or just picking up girls from the streets and convincing them to come and give a massage to a 48-year-old man, and promising them a career in college. And it's like, what's wrong with these people? What's wrong with them? Have they never heard of adults that do this for a living? They have to take young girls at the start of their life, babies, really. I mean, a 12-year-old girl. I mean, what pleasure does it give you to destroy her life? Godzilla should sit in prison for the rest of her life, as far as I'm concerned, if there is any justice in America. I'm very proud of America for capturing her. I'm very surprised that they did, because Trump is so in the background there with his lifestyle. There were so many stories of him going into Miss Teen America, and I don't want to get into that even. The way he talked about women has been broadcast, loud and clear. So I'm surprised that in Trump's America, they've been able to capture Godzilla.